In late January 2026, a shocking wildlife encounter in Fuyun County in China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region made international headlines when a female skiing tourist was attacked by a snow leopard, a rare event given how elusive these big cats typically are. The incident occurred around January 23rd near the Koktokai area as the woman was returning to her hotel after a day on the slopes. According to multiple reports, she spotted a snow leopard and, despite repeated warnings from other visitors and local authorities about recent animal sightings, moved much closer in order to take a photograph, reportedly within about 3 to 10 feet, roughly 1 to 3 meters of the animal. This decision proved dangerous. The snow leopard lunged at her, bit her face, and knocked her to the ground before bystanders and a ski instructor were able to scare the animal away by waving ski poles. The dramatic encounter was captured in footage shared on social media, showing the woman lying in the snow as the big cat stood nearby, and later being helped away by others, her ski gear marked with visible blood from the injuries she sustained. Thankfully, she was wearing a ski helmet, which authorities and eyewitnesses believe prevented even more serious harm. After the attack, she was transported to Fuyun County People's Hospital, where officials reported that her condition was serious but stable and not believed to be life-threatening.
你们先确定一下雪豹走了没？
走了。
哦，我的天哪！快捂住！
拿下。
捂住！
还在那个
雪豹还在那，你上来！它好凶啊！还在那里呢。要不上车吧，还在那里。我操，咬人啊！妈呀！有人被豹子咬。
This incident drew significant attention, not just because of the rarity of snow leopard attacks on humans — these cats are generally very shy and avoid people — but also because it highlighted the risks that can arise when tourists ignore wildlife safety warnings. Authorities in the region had already issued advisories urging visitors not to approach or attempt to photograph wildlife at close range, especially given that snow leopard tracks and sightings had been reported in the area in the days leading up to the mauling. In response to the attack, local officials stepped up patrols, renewed public safety announcements, and emphasized the importance of keeping a safe distance from wild animals in natural areas. Because snow leopards are so elusive, encounters like the 2026 incident stand out as highly abnormal. When attacks do happen, they are usually linked to exceptional circumstances, such as the animal being cornered, injured, starving, or surprised at very close range. Snow leopards rely heavily on stealth, and sudden human proximity can trigger a defensive response rather than predatory behavior. Another factor is habitat pressure. As tourism expands into remote mountain regions, especially with the growth of ski resorts and winter sports, humans are increasingly entering areas that were once almost exclusively wildlife territory. This increases the likelihood of accidental encounters, particularly during winter, when prey becomes scarce and animals may wander closer to human activity in search of food. Despite their fearsome reputation as predators, snow leopards are actually classified as vulnerable, with an estimated population of only 4,000 to 6,500 individuals left in the wild. They face threats from habitat loss, climate change, and conflicts with humans over livestock. This makes every encounter, positive or negative, significant not just as a news story, but as part of a larger conservation issue. Encounters like this don't happen because a wild animal suddenly becomes aggressive without reason. In reality, they are usually the result of multiple factors overlapping at the wrong moment, and the 2026 snow leopard incident fits that pattern closely. First, location played a major role. The encounter happened near a ski resort, an area that sits directly within snow leopard habitat. These resorts are often built in remote, mountainous regions because of the terrain and climate, which also happen to be ideal environments for snow leopards. While the resort may feel like a controlled, human-dominated space, to the animal, it is still part of its natural territory. This creates an invisible overlap where humans and predators unknowingly share the same ground. Second, seasonal pressure matters. Winter is one of the most difficult times of year for predators. Prey animals become harder to find, energy is conserved more aggressively, and stress levels increase. A snow leopard moving closer to human areas during winter may be searching for food, navigating unfamiliar terrain, or reacting to environmental changes. In these conditions, the animal is more likely to behave defensively if surprised or approached. Another critical factor is distance and surprise. Snow leopards rely on stealth and space to feel secure. When a human suddenly enters that space, especially at very close range, the animal may interpret it as a threat. The attack was likely defensive rather than predatory, meaning the snow leopard reacted instinctively to protect itself, not to hunt. This distinction is important because it shows the animal was not behaving abnormally for a wild predator under stress. Human behavior also played a role. Approaching a wild animal removes the one advantage humans usually have: distance. Many wildlife experts emphasize that proximity is often the single most dangerous variable in encounters like this. Even calm animals can react unpredictably when their personal space is invaded, particularly when they have no clear escape route. Finally, this encounter reflects a broader trend of increasing human presence in wild environments. As outdoor tourism grows, people are venturing deeper into habitats that were once rarely disturbed. While most visits pass without incident, the sheer increase in human activity raises the statistical likelihood of rare but serious encounters. This incident wasn't inevitable, but given the conditions, it was possible, and that possibility is exactly what played out. Together, these factors explain why a normally elusive and non-aggressive animal ended up in a close, dangerous confrontation with a human, not because of malice, but because of environmental pressure, proximity, and human decision-making colliding in a single moment. After the attack in Fuyun County, Xinjiang, China, the snow leopard involved did not appear to be killed on the spot. Witnesses and onlookers, shocked by the incident, reported that a ski instructor waved ski poles or similar objects to scare the animal away, and the leopard eventually retreated into the woods, leaving the scene before it was captured or harmed by humans. There are no credible reports that the animal was euthanized or killed by officials immediately after the incident. Authorities in the region had already noted increased snow leopard activity and have since stepped up patrols and warnings about wild animals, but the big cat itself was last seen still in the surrounding wild area. Snow leopards are a protected species in China and are generally not targeted unless they pose a repeated danger. While authorities warned tourists before the attack, there's no confirmed coverage saying the specific animal was tracked down or put down afterward. Instead, officials focused on public safety messaging and increased monitoring. In the days following the mauling, reports also emerged that the same snow leopard had attacked livestock and was later captured and transferred to a wildlife rescue center by local forestry and grassland authorities, who planned to release it back into the wild once conditions were safe. Overall, the event became a widely shared cautionary example of how unpredictable wildlife encounters can be, and reinforced the need for respecting safety guidance in areas where humans and rare animals like snow leopards coexist. The woman survived the attack. After the snow leopard lunged at her when she got too close to take photos or possibly touch the animal, she was severely injured but not killed. She was helped to safety by onlookers once the animal retreated and was taken to Fuyun County People's Hospital for treatment. She suffered serious facial injuries, reportedly from bites and the force of the attack. Reports note that her ski helmet likely prevented even more severe head or skull trauma, which might have been life-threatening. Chinese state media and officials have described her condition as stable following treatment, and it has been specifically reported that the injuries were serious but not believed to be life-threatening. Because this incident is still fairly recent, and medical reports are from local news sources rather than detailed hospital releases, specific information on long-term effects, such as surgeries or recovery timeline, hasn't been widely published. However, local officials continue to emphasize safety around wildlife and that the woman was expected to recover from her injuries.